Hello guys, Z899 here and welcome to NRL Tips and Predictions round, I don't know what it is, round 14. Man, of course, obviously, no one really cares at this point purely because of, the big Origin tomorrow. But, next round after Origin, it's going to be pretty interesting matches. So without further ado, let's just get into it. Going straight to 8 p.m. Friday for the opening game of the round, and it sees the West Tigers take on the Canberra Raiders. So now the Tigers were one of the many teams last week that had a bye, but in their previous game 2 weeks ago, it was the 66-18 win over the North Queensland Cowboys. Canberra Raiders did play last week and actually got a win over a close game with the South Sydney Rabbitohs. I feel like in terms of hindsight of stuff that has happened with the Canberra team, one of them being, for example, Hudson Young playing for State of Origin, and obviously the very serious incident that happened to Corey Harawira-Naera in that Souths game. There's going to be a lot of questions into what's going to happen in the front row for Canberra. Tigers do have Abasai Coruscant playing at starting hooker, but it's going to be hard to tell what's going to happen in this game. I think because of what's going to happen, I feel like Canberra have now got a proper second win with them. They beat first place South Sydney. Granted, a few players are out, but they've still got that win. And I'm going to say that I think the Canberra Raiders are going to take the win on Friday. Now we go to the first game on Saturday, and it is the New Zealand Warriors up against the Redcliffe Dolphins. Now, New Zealand Warriors, again, one of the few teams that did play last week. They lost to the Brisbane Broncos in Napier. Apparently there was controversy. Shocker. Apparently the rest were involved. And the Redcliffe Dolphins are coming off a actually very decent win over the St. George Illawarra Dragons. So it's going to be interesting to see how this game does turn out. Still got a couple of the Dolphins players who will probably be out, obviously because of Origin representing Queensland. The Dolphins are now starting to show that even without some of their main players, they're still going to put an impact. And for that, I'm going to say that the Redcliffe Dolphins should be able to take the win. I think it's Go Media Stadium in Auckland, so it's not Mount Smart, or is it Mount Smart? Is it Eden Park? I don't know what Go Media Stadium is. I'll probably pop it up, but yeah, that's how I think the game's going to go down. Now we go to one of the tastiest matches of the round. I think it's the tastiest. 5:30 on Saturday. It is the Gold Coast Titans up against the South Sydney Rabbitohs. Gold Coast Titans are coming off a bye, and they actually, in their last result 2 weeks ago, suffered a 2-point loss to the Dogs when they were leading. Bit of a shock there as well. And South Sydney were in a close game, but were ending up as the losers from that game against the Canberra Raiders. So, looking into it, obviously you're going to have maybe potentially a fair amount of South players still out. Latrell Mitchell did pick up a calf injury, so we don't know. He's going to miss game 1 of Origin, so we don't know if he's actually going to be fit enough or named in the squad for South Sydney this game. Everything would lean up for me tipping the Titans in this game, but it's just something is up with them. They can put on great performances in the first half, but just can't finish their dinner. And Souths are a team you don't want to give that to. In fairness, they've done it to the Bulldogs, who still aren't exactly on great terms at the moment, but it's South Sydney. They are going to punish you for it. So for this game, I'm going to think that the Gold Coast Titans won't win. Maybe they might be in front in the first half, who knows, but I've got to go Souths. It's just, I think Souths might be close, but I think Souths will just grind it out, Now we go to the main event on Saturday night. It is the Cronulla Sharks against the Brisbane Broncos, second versus third. Yeah, this is the game this is one of the biggest games of the season, surely. So the Brisbane Broncos are coming off a close win against the New Zealand Warriors in Napier, and the Cronulla Sharks coming off a bye, but did get a result in Coffs Harbour 2 weeks ago against the Knights. Now we start to question, obviously, Nico Hines is being selected in the number 17. He's the only Sharks player I think has been selected for Origin, so I think he should be right to go. So hopefully lead a Blues win, who knows. Brisbane are going to have a few players out, but they have shown they've been able to get it done against the Warriors. Unfortunately for me, I'm going to say the Sharks are different gravy, or whatever the kids say nowadays. So with that, I'm actually going to say that I think the Cronulla Sharks will get their win. And basically, with that win, they'll actually just prove that, oh yeah, they're contenders. It's kind of weird how it's like the Sharks are so high, but it's like no one's talking about them being contenders. It happened last year and it's happening again this year. It's wild. Now we go to the Sunday triple header. A couple of these coming up over the next coming weeks because of Origin, but first one is a game I'm actually going to go to. I think it's genuinely my second game I've been to this year, apart from Knights Dolphins back in round 3. It is the Sydney Roosters up against the Canterbury Bulldogs in Gosford. Interestingly enough, this game is actually happening the day after the Central Coast Mariners Melbourne City A-League Grand Final. So it could either be just full of very happy coasties or very sad ones. Here's to them being sad. Very sad. But obviously both teams haven't had the greatest of strides, but the Bulldogs did get a win in their last performance 2 weeks ago against the Gold Coast Titans, and the Sydney Roosters are coming off 2 weeks ago of their not heartbreaking, but last minute loss to St. George. Now, these are two teams that obviously have finals aspirations. They want to do well. This is like where it's like, okay, we need to switch on now. It's just, I'm not sold on the Roosters. I don't know what's up with them. And like people say, oh, they're going to be fine, but it's like, I think they've left it too late to start performing, and that's going to be a problem. And to this point, yes, there's also another thing you got to counteract with that, because the Bulldogs are going to have players potentially out for Origin, because you've got Adokar and Tavita Pangai Jr. in the Blues team. I don't actually think, well, you got Tedesco out for the Roosters, but he's going to play, so surely Adokar and all that will be fine. So with this, bit against the grain, I'm going to say the Bulldogs are going to win. I think the Bulldogs will get the win over the Roosters. Roosters will start realising, shit, we're in trouble. And it's just, I don't know, like, try to wake up to themselves, because it's weird. Earlier on in the season, I actually said that the Roosters would not make the finals. So far, they're proving me right. Now we go to the second game on Sunday, and we have the North Queensland Cowboys up against the Melbourne Storm. Now, North Queensland Cowboys did play last week in a relatively close game. Kyle felt it looked like they were going to come back into it, but it wasn't enough to get over the Parramatta Eels, so they were copped the loss there. And the Melbourne Storm had the bye last week and are coming off a win against the Dolphins. You're now starting to see the Storm are starting to switch on, which is good for them, I suppose. And it's just, I don't know. You do have a couple of players from the Cowboys out. You got Valentine Holmes and Murray Talagi out. Storm, I think it's only Xavier Coates Xavier Coates hasn't been selected, has he? No, he hasn't. I pay attention. I don't think anyone from the Storm has actually been selected for Origin this year. So with this, and just with the momentum, the freshness from this Melbourne Storm team, I'm going to say that the Melbourne Storm should win, and they should win relatively comfortably. Unless the North Queensland Cowboys decide to do something. Now we go to the final game of the round, and we basically have got the distance derby. Pretty much, if you count distance between the positions in the ladder, it's first versus 17. It's the Penrith Panthers versus the St. George Illawarra Dragons. Obviously, Penrith are coming first. They've got a bunch of players out for Origin, but I feel like they should be right. Maybe a couple of them going to be out anyways. Dragons, just trying to think. I don't think anyone have got anyone out from Origin. I probably have it here, but I don't think there is any coming from my head. So they're going to have pretty much their full strength team. But the thing I have against it is because Penrith's well-oiled machine that is their club is just too good of what they can get players and just slot them in and they'll be completely fine. So with that, I'm going to go with the Penrith Panthers to get the win. And that is my predictions for round 14. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Join me tomorrow for the Game 1 live stream. We're going, I think, starting probably around 7 o'clock. So should be good, actually, like trying to get back in the swing of things now that the semester for university is pretty much over now, so that's going to be great. So anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all later.